So this is going to be a quick look at this GMW laser boresighter. This is a multi-caliber version that they offer. Before I get too far along, there's a couple things I got to kind of go over. Number one, the brand GMW actually sent me this as a free sample so I could sort of put it through its paces, give it a try, see what I thought, and then kind of report back to them. The second thing is, unfortunately, due to the rules with these review videos, I cannot actually show this thing in use on a real firearm. So we just kind of have to work around that. And then finally, just a little bit about me. I've been working in the firearms industry for the last 20 plus years. I think I'm coming up on 22, either on a part-time or full-time basis. I'm not an expert, but I've got some experience. And I have quite a bit of experience using one of these devices because I used to work at a place that actually would bore sight for customers if they bought the rifle and the optic from the store. So that out of the way, let's kind of go over what this is. So this is a multi-caliber laser-based bore sight. Bore sights come in sort of two different versions. You have what's called a breech or chamber boresighter. Those typically are going to be bore sights that look like a bullet or a round, and then they're caliber specific, and you insert them into the chamber, and they shine the laser down all the way down the barrel, out the end, down towards the target. That's one type, and then the other type is what this one is, which is a muzzle-based boresighter. And muzzle-based means that you have the boresighter itself is inserted into the muzzle, and then it shines down range, and you make the adjustments. So it's worth mentioning, and I've dealt with this for years, that a boresighter is designed to get you on paper and pretty close to the zero or the target bullseye, but it's not a guaranteed thing. It's just designed to get you close. You have to, once you finish bore sighting, it's really worth your time to finish up with some live fire and really dial it in. The bore sight will get you on paper, and it'll get you close to it, close to the bullseye, but it's not going to be exact. And it's a much better idea once you finish with the bore sighting to go ahead and fire some live rounds and then make adjustments accordingly. So let's go over kind of what's included in this. So in addition to the boresighter, you also get a shoot and see splatter target. We'll put that off to the side, and then you get the instruction manual. Now, I strongly recommend if you buy this, you keep the instruction manual, and I'm going to explain why in just a second. So the boresighter unit itself is made up of a couple different components. First of all, this is the bore sight unit, and if I get it out here, this is how it looks, and if I turn it on, you should see a green laser. Hopefully you can see that. So this one is green. Some bore sight models are red. I much prefer green because they're easier to see in bright sunlight. So you see how this kind of looks. I'm going to turn it off not to waste the battery. So this is the bore sight actual main aspect of the bore sight. And then in addition to the bore sight, you get these adapters. These are called caliber adapters. They go by a couple different names. This particular kit has 32 of them. So you get 32 different caliber adapters that are designed to fit anything from, these go as small as a 17 caliber. So these could be used on like a 17 HMR or 17 Mach 2, something that small, all the way up to a 12 gauge. And so the way this unit works is, and I'm just going to pull this adapter because I know this is a 12 gauge because I just used it, is you're going to take the caliber adapter and you're going to screw it onto the end. Hopefully I just did this. I'm hoping I can do this on camera. There we go. and you're just going to screw it on the end till it screws down. And you also get a, you can see it right here, it's kind of tucked in. You get a little screwdriver to assist with this. There we go. You get a little screwdriver to assist with this if you need to. And then you would just put it on there and just make sure it's tight. And then what you're going to do is you're going to insert this in. Let's pretend this is the muzzle, the end of the muzzle, because again, I can't show you on a real firearm. We're going to insert this into the muzzle. Again, we've chosen the right size to fit. Now we're going to pretend this is a 12 gauge, and it's going to go into the muzzle like that, and it's going to ride. And then you're going to turn the boresighter back on, and you're going to see, hopefully you can see it on my hand, you're going to see the green laser, like so. Hopefully you can see that. And then what you're going to do is once you got this set up, you're going to get it pointed to a target, and you're going to look through your scope or your optic, and you're going to make adjustments either right or left, up or down. They're going to be called. It's going to be elevation, or I can't think of left or right now. I'm drawing a blank, but windage. Sorry, it's either going to be elevation or windage. And you're going to adjust, you can either adjust the optic to go where the boresighter hits on the target, or you can line the boresighter up right on the bullseye and then adjust the optic to get to that point. But at the end of the day, you want the reticle and the scope or the dot on the red dot to be lined up on the target. And then you're going to do your shooting. But that's kind of how this works, sort of in a nutshell. Something I forgot to mention, so I'm going to sort of add this back in, is I mentioned earlier that I recommended you keep the instruction manual, and here's why. So each one of these caliber adapters has a number on it, and that number corresponds to a fit code here in the instructions. The actual caliber is not printed on the caliber adapter, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not a deal breaker. It just means you have to keep this as a reference point. So I meant to cover that as well. I had the chance to try this one out, to give it a test run. Actually, I went to the range a couple of days ago, and I got to run this one, to check it out, and it works well. Some of these bore sighting devices that I've run into over the years, they use a red dot, and my biggest complaint with a red dot has always been they're hard to see in bright sunlight. And so I was really happy to see when they sent me this one that it has a green laser, because those are ones that you could see pretty much under any circumstance, and it's a fairly bright one too, which is nice, because when you're bore sighting at 100 yards, you obviously need to be able to see where the laser hits. So I was impressed with this one, based on what I saw and the testing that I did. I got a chance to sort of check it, and I put it into one of my bolt guns, and just to see where the bore sight would ride compared to where the optic was, and it was not quite dead on, but it was pretty close. More than close enough to get me on paper if I needed to do it again. But hopefully, as I've gone through this, it's answered some questions. Maybe you got some value from it. I'm hoping you did. I forgot to mention, it also comes with 2 CR2 batteries. So you don't have to buy anything other than the bore sight and this kit. When it gets here, you're up and ready to go in about 2 minutes. Very simple to get up and running, and I was pleased with just the test results I got. I think it works well.